in here, so the air conditioner rarely comes on.
Well, welcome to another edition of Troops to Truckers on our online broadcast. And this morning we have with us a guest, and she's joined us by phone, and from Albertsville, Minnesota. And she's sharing with us some opportunities with the firm she represents. And so introduce yourself to our crowd here. Just tell us who you are and the name of the firm you work for.
Hey, my name is Heidi Fleming. I'm a recruiter for Longhaul Trucking. We're based out of Albertville, Minnesota. You don't have to live in Albertville to drive truck or Longhaul.
Okay, so now the opportunities you have are both as a owner-operator and just working for the company, correct, as a driver?
Yes.
Okay, and so let's divide those in two. So as you may be aware, with the Troops to Truckers program, our drivers are coming out. It's new for them. This is their first experience in driving. So give us a few words about what the opportunity is for new drivers.
Well, if you're just coming off of the military active duty or reserves, or even if you are, past military, we are starting up an apprenticeship program, which is going to be state certified. Once state certified, it'll be VA certified. Your Montgomery GI Bill will roll over, and while you're doing the apprenticeship program, which is roughly 1 year long, you will be getting paid not only by Longhaul, but also by your VH, which is your post 9/11 GI Bill. Once you're done with the program, which is 1 year long, you'll also get a journeyman certificate. Basically, when you complete the program, you don't really need it to drive truck, but it's something nice to have. Put it in your I Love You book or hang it on your wall. It's a nice certificate. It's a good place to work, especially if you're coming off the service time. It's a family here. We have each other's back. We look out for each other. It's a close-knit environment. I'm a veteran myself. I just got back to duty in October, and this is absolutely a place that I call home. I still investing with these people, truck drivers, office staff, everybody here.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take a couple things you said, and we need to break them down into pieces because that was quite a bit. So let's start with just the basics. So you're telling me you do basic training, basic truck driver training?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and is your program approved by your state's Veterans Affairs organization so that the GI Bill money can be used for that?
As of 1 August, it will be. So we're getting it all together, and starting the 1st of August, we'll be up and running.
Okay. Until that time that you're approved for that, if they have their CDL license, if they just received it from another school, they can come to your apprenticeship program?
Yes, they can put in, go to longhaultrucking.com.
Hold on. That's Longhaul Trucking, LONGHAULTRUCKING, longhaultrucking.com. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and fill out an application, and somebody will get in contact with you. Like I said, the program isn't going to start until the 1st of August, the 1st of August, but you can, we can get the ball rolling, because regardless, you're going to have your driving record checked, and just a bunch of other little things are going to need to be done in addition to you starting the apprenticeship program.
Okay, so now outside of any education or apprenticeship, let's talk about just employment now. So will they have to go through the apprenticeship before they can drive if they have no experience?
No, they can go. The apprenticeship program is roughly a year. See, for any trucking company, you need to have at least 1 year of driving experience.
Well, we're actually in a special situation. We have dozens and dozens of companies that don't require them to have any experience because they're veterans, and that's why we asked the question. we're in a unique.
Well, for us,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, for us, you're going to drive for the first 6 weeks. It's just kind of like a hands-on, get you familiarized. You're going to learn how to secure a load, how to do. We use electronic logs, how to do that. And all kinds of things. You're going to have a mentor, a trainer with you in the truck for the first 6 weeks at all times. After that, once you're done with that, then you'll get your own truck and you'll be able to drive on your own. But once a month, that the person, the new employee, will meet up with their mentor just to have a conversation to make sure that everything is going well. In addition to that, you're going to have to do some continuing education, which is it's like a couple of quizzes once a week just to make sure that you are learning everything that has to go into the trucking company and into driving truck. It's just something that's good to know, knowledge.
Sure.
A little bit of extra knowledge. It doesn't hurt. You have a little downtime at the end of the day, and that you just open up your little book, you read it, take a quiz, turn it in, and you're good.
Now, speaking about the truck driving opportunities, where across the country is it? In certain regions or certain cities? I mean, where are you finding that your opportunities for driving are located?
Longhaul has authority in 48 states in Canada. So basically, anywhere in the U.S. you can drive to, we go.
So that in terms of applicants, if I have an applicant who says, well, I'm down here at Camp Lejeune and I've just gotten my CDL Class A license, would you have an opportunity for them to drive in North Carolina?
It's not just the state of North Carolina. Longhaul is an over-the-road trucking company.
Okay, let me ask the question a different way. If someone's family happens to be pretty rooted, say in Fayetteville, North Carolina, okay, and even though they're getting out of Fort Bragg, they're going to stay in Fayetteville. Would you have driving opportunities that would originate out of Fayetteville? That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay.
You can live anywhere to work at Longhaul, and even say you're on the road for 2 weeks and you're going to go home for a few days. If you're a company driver, you can take your truck home for a few days, and then when you're ready to go, they'll get you a load and you'll head back out.
Okay.
You don't have to live anywhere in particular.
Well, the reason I asked this question is this: one of our Troops to Truckers initiatives is to say I have a Marine who's coming out of the service, and he knows that what we're working towards is to get the service member to say, when it's all said and done with job training and everything, I want to live in Bristol, Tennessee. Okay, that's where my family is. I want to be in Bristol. And so we're making this logical path for our participants to say, well, if you want to live in Bristol, then instead of getting in Bristol, Tennessee, instead of getting your CDL in some other state somewhere else, let's get you near Bristol as close as we can so that you can get your CDL, identify your employment if you're going to be based out of Bristol. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I asked the question that way. There's enough opportunity out there that they don't have to be taking whatever they can get. They can be letting us know, this is where I want to live, and let's see what opportunities are there for education, for apprenticeship, for driving for a company. And so when you say that they can live anywhere in the country, then I guess I would. Should I assume that if they live in Boise, Idaho, and they would call you? I mean, is it because you're originating new work out of that town, or because do you have that many trucks running all over the country? I mean, help me understand how that would work.
We have freight all throughout the entire U.S.
Okay.
And a lot of these drivers, we have company drivers and owner operators. They live in New York, California, Iowa, Missouri, North Dakota. They live everywhere.
I see.
Where they live, and they get with dispatch, and dispatch talks for them, and they just put them on load.
Gotcha.
They have a truck. After the person comes here and they do their orientation and all is said and done, they get a load, they get a truck, they get assigned a truck. and they get put on the load, and then they're done. They go up their way.
Okay, great.
So I mean, you don't have to live. You can live wherever you want. I mean, we have people that live in Canada.
Okay.
So.
Right. So now let's talk a little bit about compensation and how competitive it is, and about how much is paid when someone's So say we have a new driver that comes to you and they have to ride with somebody else. Are they paid during that time they're riding with somebody else?
For the first 6 weeks, you're going to be paid. The first 2 weeks is $200 a week.
Okay.
The third and fourth week is $400, and the fifth and sixth week is $600 because you're in training.
Sure.
On top of that, remember you're also going to get your post 9/11 PH from your GI Bill. But that's not until you all get approved. So right now that's not possible. But once you all are approved in August or whenever that is, that's when they'll be able to claim those additional funds. Correct? Exactly. So for the first 6 weeks, it's $200, $400, $600. Then after that, you'll be on your own driving, and you'll get paid 25% of the load. So whatever the load is, you get paid that. A lot of other trucking companies pay per mile. Longhaul pays the percentage. So if you don't make any money, Longhaul doesn't make any money. So we're not going to put somebody on a load where they're not going to make anything, because then we're not going to make anything. So it's pretty decent paycheck here.
Now talk to me. Talk to me about that 25%. Does that mean that? So I'm not involved with paying for gas and things like that?
If you're a company driver, you don't pay for gas. You don't pay for repairs. You don't pay for inspections. You don't pay for anything. You get a credit card, and the company pays for all of that. Basically, it's like you're a company employer. It's like me. I work in the office. I do recruiting. I do things like that. It's like you're on their payroll, but it's by your load. If you're an owner-operator, it's a little bit different. You get it to be 87% or 90%. It just depends on if you choose to use the company's fuel card, and even 87% a load. If you use your own fuel and you pay for it out of your own pocket, you get 90% a load.
Okay. And talk to me about driving record. What types of things on records will preclude somebody from being able to take advantage of an opportunity with you? So I know that not all things are the same. But I mean, talk to me about what the driving record needs, the minimum standards of someone's driving record needs to be before they'd be able to be considered for employment with you all.
Well, you can't have more than 3 your-fault accidents in the last 3 years. That didn't come across clear, so I want to repeat it. No more than 3. You said? Did you say 3 your fault? Yes.
Okay. No more than 3 your-fault accidents over the last
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Go ahead.
Same with the DUI or any alcohol-related, driving, drug-related incidences within the last 5 years.
Okay. So anything. I want to repeat these because they're so important. So in terms of DUI and did you say reckless driving, or you said DUI and what else did you say? Any alcohol-related or drug-related incident needs to be more than 5 years in the past.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just an overabundance of speeding tickets and things like that. That is kind of case by case, give or take. They just look at it and see. If you've got 5 speeding tickets in the last year, it's probably that's not a good thing.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what we encounter mostly. Most of these guys have been on deployment and doing things. So for several years here, their lives have been not involved with a vehicle. But what they may have is something that happened prior to their enlistment, so it may be 4 years old or 4.5. And so I think when you give those 3-year and 5-year thresholds, that's pretty easy to understand, and any driver can place themselves in that. You know, we're typically not coming across any of these guys. They've just not had the time to get that many driving citations. So it would tend to be, well, I had a DUI back 4 years ago or whatever. And so that 3 and 5 year, that's helpful for us to. So really 3 year for your accidents and other types of violations, and then 5 year for your really big fish like your DUIs, etc. Okay. And what's the process for you know, we're going to ask them to go ahead and make application through us so we can forward that to you. Okay, so we want them to go to Troops of Truckers, fill out the application, because there's other things that we do with a veteran, including ensuring that they're getting the proper claims management so that they're getting compensated for any injuries that they incurred while they were in service. There's just a lot of wraparound services that we give those who apply. So they're going to come to us and they're going to fill out an application, and we're going to send it over to you. And so we'll make sure that we actually, I'm going to add a little part to the application after this phone call, because I like that 3-5 year, that 3 year, 5 year sort of threshold. I think I'm going to start asking that question anyway. Now, how many opportunities typically do you have to fill during any particular calendar year? I mean, or is it just dependent on how many applicants you get?
We're always hiring, always.
Always hiring. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Well, what I want to do is I'm going to wrap up this segment here because we're coming right about to the minute mark we want to be at. Tell us again one last time, slowly and clearly, your name, and then tell me your full name again.
Heidi Fleming.
And so I want you guys, if you're interested in what Heidi is speaking about, to come to us to troopstruckers.com, or if you go to longhaultrucking.com yourself directly, please make sure that you mention that you heard about this opportunity here in this call with Heidi and I, and that way we can all understand where you're coming from, because it helps us help more of your fellow soldiers, that's for sure, and Marines and Airmen and Coast Guardmen, and who did I leave out? So we appreciate you being here for this session, and I appreciate Heidi being with us. And so for right now, we're going to end this video, but I want you to scroll below and you'll find a link so that you can click on that link and you can go ahead and make that application, and let's get you hooked up with Heidi, and a great job, because we appreciate your service to us, and you deserve to be treated the best that we can treat you and give you the best opportunities available. Take care.